Recording yet?
Yep, right now.
No?
Yep, right now.
I was just about to end it and switch devices. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Testing.
What is up, everybody? We are back again with another amazing video today. I'm only saying amazing video today because you already know what it is. You see, I got the background March Madness. So I made a little announcement on a recording video with my co-host, my uncle, and we got a new person on the show today. So I'm going to be doing some episodes regarding college ball, NBA, WNBA ball, and NBA basketball. So I'm gonna make it worldwide, where I talk about every definition of basketball itself. So different times where I will discuss college ball, NBA or et cetera, et cetera. So right now we're gonna discuss the March Madness Elite 8 college basketball. And this is about women's basketball right now, and then we'll get into men's March Madness Elite 8 college basketball. So, with all being said, this has been the Basketball for Knowledge. I'm your co-host, Aramis. You gotta say your name, bro.
I'm CP.
It's all good, bro. It's all
happy
good.
to be on. Happy to be on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see my boy repping the LSU. Michaela
Yeah,
Williams.
Man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
number
sir.
12. Number 12 Island, baby. They're trying to get there today. Right. Trying to get to the Final Four.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, my uncle, he filled me in that you got a cousin who plays for LSU.
Yeah. Number 12, Michaela Williams.
Yes.
First team All SEC. Sophomore, man, she's just growing into her own right now.
Okay.
Yeah, she came out last year. She was second behind Juju Watkins in high school. They were ranked 1 and 2 in the country. So, they both in college just doing their thing now, and she's trying to get LSU to the Final Four for her first Final Four. So, because she came in, of course, after they won a national title. As again, one of the top recruits, and last year they went out in the Elite 8, and today they're trying to get past the Elite 8. So hopefully they can pull it off. It's not going to be easy, but hopefully they can pull it off.
Yeah, it's not. And I have been watching a few of these games for the tournament of March Madness, and seeing a quite of these teams that haven't really made it out so far, and I'm surprised that Duke is still at the number 1 seed, as far as for Cooper Flag and his team is doing phenomenal. I love how LSU has been playing recently. I love how USC's been playing. UConn with Paige Beckers. And TCU, like a lot of teams in college are phenomenal, and
right.
The way how they've been coached, the way how they've been playing, it's phenomenal. And I've seen some really good players from each teams that are definitely are going to be doing good in the league as far as how the performances in college. So, Paige Beckers, her last season in college will end this year, and she will be in the draft next year. We don't know what team she may get drafted by, but I will figure that out later on once we do a next episode. Juju Watkins was out. She had an ending season with her knee injury. Very sad.
Unfortunate.
Yep. I was kind of it was risky because when they spoke on that she had an injury like that before, I'm thinking, why are we playing her if she already had an injury before? And you can see during the warm up, she was kind of like reaching for a little bit. She was just like, I'm like, this ain't gonna end well because there's gonna be a wrong move, and then she's gonna hurt that even more.
That's exactly what happened. That is exactly
Yeah.
what happened. But hey, I mean, player like Juju, it's hard to tell her to sit. And of course, if anybody has played basketball, whether you have a turned ankle or maybe a little twitch here and there, you always have it. So as a hooper, you never think of something ending like that. So it's unfortunate. You kind of roll the dice when you go out there when you're already hurt to begin with. You definitely roll the dice. And unfortunately for her in USC, she crapped out.
Yeah.
Right, she crapped
Yeah.
out. So I mean, the women's game, the men's game, just college basketball overall. I think it's on a bit of a comeback. I think the NIL has played a significant part in that. The name, image, and likeness. Now the kids can go straight into school instead of jumping to the pros. You might be a first round pick this year, but instead of jumping to the pros, you might stay. A lot of colleges, of course, it's made where a lot of colleges can compete now. You wonder why, wow, this school beat this school, and this school beat this school, and you wonder how McNeese State pulls out and wins their first round game. It's the NIL, and then also everyone an extra COVID year has helped some of these athletes and helped some of the schools. So if you look at the tournament, as it was real young, a few days ago, a few years ago, excuse me, the tide has turned. College basketball and college sports as a whole is now older, which is a good game because it's going to help all sports. And as far as basketball, it's really helping basketball because in general, people have pretty much stopped watching college basketball except tournament time. But even then, you're not just watching it; you're just kind of see if you can find an upset or so. But with these kids staying longer, with a lot of these teams, older teams, you get better basketball, you get better viewership mixed in with the phenomenal guys like your Cooper Flags, who's of course going to be the number one pick in the draft. You swiftly Auburn, they're still in it for the men. Their average starters are 23 years old. That starting lineup is older than the Memphis Grizzlies. So it's kind of let you know just by guys getting that extra 6th year from COVID. And then, of course, NIL, these teams are older. And so older and most experienced teams usually have a better chance of winning the tournament. And so it's definitely helped basketball. It's definitely helped the women's game because now you can put a name. Women has been playing great basketball forever.
100%.
Forever. But now, the exposure they're getting is only going to grow the game. It's only going to continue to bring in sponsorship, viewership, which means viewerships because your sponsor is going to put you out there in front of everyone. And as far as the NIL deal, the name, image, and likeness, you're seeing some of these ladies with Nike, you're seeing national commercials here, national commercials there. So now, just like the men's sport, we can place a face with the name. Hence, it's going to grow the game. It's going to bring more viewership to your sport. I see it firsthand, man. The NIL, as far as the ladies, just for my cousin alone, Michaela Williams again plays for LSU, the women's team. Just from her alone, I mean, some of the national deals she has, and the way they put her face out there to her fans. I mean, it's just, it's brung the game and it's brung those athletes to celebrity status, which they should have had a long time ago. So again, the NIL I think is the great thing that's actually exploding and bringing the viewers back to college basketball. So I've enjoyed it. I've even been watching it more and more.
Yes. Yeah. That's because originally I started watching college ball a little more like years ago, like when Zion was still in there, Lonzo
Right.
was still in there,
Right.
Shea was still in there. Like that was the times where college ball was kind of more interesting for me.
Right.
And then I kind of got into more of the NBA,
Right.
and I didn't know about the WNBA until years went by, and I'm like, they got a WNBA. I mean, I didn't know that. I mean,
That's right.
I'm seeing college girls playing. I'm like, there's got to be WNBA. If you're seeing college girls play, I'm like, yeah, there is WNBA, and I'm seeing a lot of great WNBA players who
Yeah,
played in college, like Candace Parker, and is it's seeing women's culture playing ball. It's definitely
it's eye
involving.
opening.
Yeah, it's definitely involving. I feel like more eyes need to be on that too, as far as the
Yeah.
NBA as well.
Yep.
And I know a lot of WNBA fans wish that that there's more eyes in there, and I hope it does, because that goes same thing for women's college basketball too. And to see these young stars, rise up from college, it's same thing, from high school to college and all the way to the league. You know it's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because when you look at Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and before they went to the league, they were like the two big conversations, like the two best college players,
Yep.
and especially in March Madness and the whole college season itself. And then Juju was in the picture, so those were like the two big three best college players in that league.
Right.
So once Caitlin Clark and Andrew Reese leaves, now it's up to now it's really Juju who's left over, and then you got Paige Beckers, who's also another really talented big piece of that college of that college life, as far as playing
Right.
for women's league. Um, I want to talk about LSU right now. So
Okay.
Uncle Ramon, he when he came to me and told me about how your cousin is Michaela Williams, I instantly was like, okay, well, let me look her up real quick. And her whole resume is like,
It's Hall of Fame worthy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, hold on, let me
Yeah.
pull it up real quick, because, like, honestly,
It's amazing, huh? And
yeah,
it's just been like
please,
that.
like, I want you to explain to the fans, like, just like how great Michaela Williams is from since high school and college, and, like, do you think, what is her impact going to be when she goes to the league? Like, explain that.
Man, um, uh, she's been playing ball a long, long, long time. I mean, first of all, both her parents play college ball. They play for Northwestern Louisiana Division One. Her mom played in the tournament as well. Her mom is actually my first cousin. I'm kind of Michaela's big cousin, so it's her mom played in the in the NCAA's as well. Now they got wiped out by Duke back in the day, but you
Okay.
know. So she was pretty much raised on the basketball court, man. From the time she can walk, she had a ball in her hand, and she literally had this ball in her hand up until now. you know, and she spent. I can vouch. She spent a lot of time, man. A lot of people think it just comes easy, but if you ever play sports, you might have the gift, but you have to push it. She spent a lot of mornings, man, from about seventh grade. Her mom would get her up about 4 in the morning, and they'll start a workout. And she did that all the way up until all the way through high school. And those 4 in the morning workouts turn into 4 in the morning working with your trainer workouts uh, from
Mhm.
about five, about 4:30 to about 6. Shower up, get to class, go practice again. I mean, and you do this repeat, rinse and repeat. 5, 6, 7 days a week, man. And but she's always loved that ball, and her parents always told her that ball can take her anywhere in the world, in which it has. If you've looked up her resume, and
Yeah.
that's just it, man. Hard work, man. She's nice as could be off the court, smart student, but she gets you on that court, man, and she does nothing but want to crush your heart. And that's the great thing about watching her passion, man. And like I said, if you're looking up her resume, from the time she was in seventh, eighth grade, big on the AAU circuit, basketball, of course, Team USA. Player of the Year, USA Basketball Player of the Year a couple years ago. I think she's a three-time gold medalist as well. And a lot of those teams she played on with Juju Watkins. Of course, they both came out of high school the same year, but they also crushed the world on a lot of those teams. So it's a lot of connections, especially with a lot of the girls. If you're still watching, people that's still watching the tournament, the Elite Eight, a lot of those girls, they've all pretty much played with each other throughout the years on some type of all-star team, some type of, McDonald's all-star team, some USA basketball type team. So it's good to see because I've been following it really closely the last couple years with Michaela being in college basketball and watching her through high school. And I've seen a lot of these girls play when they were in high school before their household names. And to actually see them now all making major impacts for their school, it's just amazing to see, man. It's just a fun journey just following Michaela. I call her 12, in case you guys didn't know her favorite thing, 12 Island. That's her number. But if she gets you on that island, it's over. So a lot of times I just
Yeah. So,
refer to her as 12. But 12 was put in a lot of work, man. A lot of work, man. And that's just what it's about. You got the talent, but if you want to keep going up different levels, man. And it's just been fun watching her uh, grow as a basketball player throughout the years, but also watching her in college these last couple years. Uh, Last year and this year, last year she was SEC Freshman of the Year, first team All Freshman. This year, she was first team All SEC as a sophomore. So that progression is real, man. You could tell this season she came out and played. She could see in her face and just her game, she was way more comfortable. Last year, she came in LSU state champion, but she came right into the start lineup with big names like Angel Reese, Flajay Johnson, and a few Haley Van Lith, of course, who's playing to take her team to the Final Four today at TCU.
yeah,
So
I've
she,
seen that
yeah,
too.
yeah. So she came in last year. They were defending champs. So she kind of just played her role. That's why she kind of chose LSU. I mean, she could be at another school, averaging 30 points a game,
Of
you know,
course.
but she wanted to stay home, which is real big for her. Based in Louisiana, family is real tight knit, big family. That way she
Mm.
can stay home. She's from the Shreveport area, Bossier City, about an hour and a half from Baton Rouge. So that way she wanted to stay home and she just wanted to put on for the state of Louisiana. Yeah, that's real big to her. Of course, she can transfer. Could have went to any school and still can. But she's there, man. She's through thick and thin. She wants to win a national title. She's won. If you look at her resume, she's won everything that you could possibly win at all the levels she's played on. And the only one left is a national title. So she's determined to get it, whether it's this year or before she gets out of school.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because and I wanted to because I know the tournament is almost over, and I would love to get her on the show because there's some questions that I would love to ask her. One, what was her first experience on how she feel about being in the USA Olympics? For as far as getting a gold medal or a silver medal, like how she felt about that being in there. You know, just representing USA itself. Like it could be men's, girls, or it could be any kind of sport, but just all the sports combined as USA itself. Just
It
like
was special. I do know, man, that was special for her. I want to say her first experience with USA basketball was maybe her junior year, the summer before her junior year,
mm,
when she was on the 3-on-3, uh, 3-on-3 kind of under 17 international team. She went out there, man, and kind of like, of course, was dominating as a freshman in high school, and of course playing all the AAU ball and different things like that. But going overseas and actually having the success she did, you can see it just elevated her game, her mindset, and everything else. It's kind of wow. Okay, all right. I know I knew I can play, but I can see the type of level I can play on. And she went out there, and I remember that summer they won the gold medal, of course, and she won player MVP of the tournament. So it was awesome as well. She was actually, I remember she was teammates with uh, an opponent that they're playing today, Kiki Rice, who's the point guard for UCLA, which
Oh
LSU and
yes,
UCLA play today. But
at
Michaela
3 o'clock. Yep.
yeah, MVP of that tournament. And then after that, man, she just the next summer went back, did the same thing, won a gold medal, also was the MVP. And then right after that, I think they did the team, of course, where it was 5-on-5, and that's when there was her, Juju, and I think for Wally, the point guard for South Carolina, who was actually, I think she's playing today as well. So that's what I meant when I'm seeing a lot of these girls that I was watching, back when they're in high school playing in these
Yeah.
different levels, actually seeing them all showing up, as far as getting their teams where they need to be. And man, after that, of course, I know she was on that team with Juju, and just seemed like every few months, man, I'd see her, she'd be out in Colorado. I think that's where the Team USA facilities are, the basketball facilities. I could be wrong, but I think that's where they're at. And man, just working with Team USA, and then they actually, she was USA Player of the Year 2 years ago, USA basketball for her age group as well. But still, man. So that experience, is special to her. As you know, wearing USA across your chest, and then you're going to compete with all these other countries,
That's
and
what I'm
then
saying. Hey,
and everyone's coming for your neck. Everyone's coming for your neck
everybody
around the
is
world.
because
Everyone wants to beat the
right,
USA.
right. Because the thing
They,
is too that this is why I said that the USA is probably the most biggest thing when it comes to competing against other like countries, and so
uh,
you got France, you got you know Serbia, and then like all the other like most
all of them, and they all playing the same game we're
Canada,
playing.
right? They also play the same game that we're playing, but when it comes to competing in worldwide Olympics, USA has always been on top,
Right.
and because that's just a big thing. So the people who are selecting these players to compete for Team USA, that's got to be big, for
Yeah.
someone like Michaela Williams. I know that was
Yeah.
a big thing for her because she was like, "Yo,
Huge.
I'm playing for USA."
Coming out of Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana. You know what I
Right?
mean? It's like,
Like me, like it could be anybody else, but they
right,
chose me. But
right.
you know what? All that excitement is gonna go out the window. I got my game face on and I'm
Yep.
locked in, and she
That's
was.
exactly. Yep.
And she was
That's
locked in.
exactly.
Like you said, she was able to get MVP. She got a gold medalist. She's a gold medalist, and
Yep.
it's and that's good.
Yeah, it's the hard
And
work, man. It's like
yeah,
I say, I seen the process. Again, I play sports myself, so I'm
hmm
kind of familiar with it. If you play sports, you gotta, even if you got the talent to keep going to level on level, you gotta keep going, man. And you just actually gotta get up. And if you ask her, she didn't love getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning from the time she was in seventh grade, you know,
yeah, because
through
that's not
through high
early.
school. Yeah, and I know, her mom, what I'm saying? Her mom was an athlete herself, and a damn good one, basketball player. And so she put that work ethic in her, man. She saw that with her parents. She grew up in a gym, but she pretty much saw that work ethic of getting up, man. Like she had to get up. Like my cousin Tanya, her mom wasn't playing that. Like get up. And she got both the kids
Yeah,
up, and it was just to work out. It had nothing to do with basketball. It was just to actually work out. She kept the basketball workouts, separate. But that was just to get up, get in shape, go run these stairs. But she would run the stairs right there with them. You know what I mean? And then,
yeah,
of course, that progressed to that. But now I'm getting up at 4 in the morning to go meet with my trainer. You know what I mean? And actually work basketball trainer and actually work out, dripping sweat workout for like an hour and a half before school. For that workout or before that game that day. So man, and to do that continuously day after day after day after day, I'm glad. I love to see it paying off like this in a major way. whether it was family or just, I follow all athletes, man. I love for any athlete to win at any level. Being a
100%.
former athlete myself, man, it's just amazing to see, man. And that's just from the women's game, college game, professionally. And like I said, it's helping the professional game too. Because you're not gonna have everybody rushing uh, to the league, right? A lot of times in NBA, especially in the last like 15 years, they've been drafting strictly off potential, right?
Yeah.
Dude might average 2 points wherever he's at across the country, but he's 6'9", can jump out the gym and blah 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 blah. You get to the
Exactly.
league, they set you on a bench, right? Most of them, even if it's the first round contract, you're guaranteed 2 years. A lot of them, after that 2 years is up, they're out the league. You see what I'm saying? So the league isn't getting any better, because you're only
Yeah,
getting a
it's not.
small. Yeah, it's not growing. But now, you have guys staying in college longer. So now when they come in the league, they can help a little bit. You know what I mean? They're not just sitting there. They might actually last longer. So, like I say, however it changed, I'm glad it changed. A lot of these changes have been, a long time in the making, long time coming, and I'm glad to see it for college sports. And I'm sure the executives at these streaming networks or these TV networks, I'm sure they're happy to see it too. So
Yeah,
everybody's
100%.
making the money. So finally, the athletes can make a little bit of the money as well.
That's why that's why when you're a fan of basketball yourself,
Hmm.
and you kind of want to watch. So let's say you grew up in a town, and that town was surrounded by some of the best ball players, and who is going to be ranked as one of the best players in the country, or as ESPN ranks, because ESPN got ranks, and they're ranked from 1 to 100.
Right.
So you got some of the best ranked ESPN players that are being known to television right now,
Yep.
and then and then when you're there and you're watching them from high school to college, and you're seeing how they're doing, and then they get sent to the league, and
Where they at?
it's
Yeah.
like bro, it's like yo, but to see these most talented college players who came from high school,
Right.
seeing how they're developing, and then when they go to the league, because in the league you got to play a certain way, but
Yeah. Yeah. You do. You do.
it
Especially more so in the men's game as well. But you have to play a certain way.
right, but when I see guys like Curry, Bron, you know, LaMelo, or like seeing all these great veterans, and then veterans in the WNBA, like they play they own way,
Yeah.
like, and then the way how they're changing the game itself, like Angel Reese, like she's bringing back more of that, like, if you're a big person, if you're a big man or a big
Yeah.
woman, stay in that paint, like
Yeah.
big guys, and big females, and if you got guards,
You good. They can.
you're good, but
Yeah.
it's
The
I
big
like
man.
the
Go ahead. I was just going to say the big man has
yeah,
definitely made a comeback. A big
of
man,
course.
or for the down low player, the low post player, in the men's game and the women's game, and it's good to see. It's kind of like the post players are still important.
Yeah, it
And
is.
to me more so in the women's game, because they're not relying on they're athletic, they have athleticism, but they're not relying on a type of athleticism where it takes to play above the rim, right?
Correct.
So the low post player is always going to matter in the women's game. So it's good to see. I mean, as you see, Angels down there just killing it, and just with the basic rebounds, defense, and hustling. That matters still in the women's game.
Like I said, the same thing for Aja Wilson too. Like her dominance too. When
Dominant.
I Yeah, when I watched her in the USA game against France too, I was like, yeah, man, like I felt like when she leave, I think Angel Reese definitely gonna continue that. continue that movement going forward. And then for Caitlin Clark, she definitely gonna continue that. Like she is the female version of Steph Curry. That's all I can say. Female version of that.
Yeah.
Like
yes, she is sick, man.
mm-hmm.
Once she got comfortable last year, and man,
Watch her next year.
Yeah, I was
Watch her next year.
You know what I'm saying? Every little doubt, even myself. I mean, I know greatness travels. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Greatness travels. With most of the time, if you're great and you make it to that level, as a great player, all of them are great if you make it professionally, right? But they're still great amongst greatness. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
There's still Jordans among the other dudes in the NBA that are great, right? It's still your goat status level. You know what I mean? So, and this greatness gonna always shine, man. And hey, listen, man, once she got comfortable, I even had me being like, damn, okay, like, all right, I know you can play, but okay, like, damn, is it that easy for you right now?
She's showing that thing from deep. I was like, woo, hold on.
Damn.
We got us a shooter in the NBA, but I want to go on to speak on the men's basketball college real quick, and then we'll chime back on the women's college, especially 8. So all the fans right now, if you look at the thumbnail, that's the main topic for today. CP, I'm sure you saw the thumbnail for today's video,
right.
So we'll get into that just by like in a little bit, in about like a minute or two.
Okay.
I want to get into Cooper Flagg's situation in Duke right now. He just beat Alabama last night. He's in the Final Four. We don't know what team he's going to face next. So, do you think Cooper Flagg is going to take Duke into getting another championship the same way that Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish took Team Duke as under Coach K and getting a state championship for Duke University? Do you think Cooper Flagg will do the same thing?
It's a good chance. It's a good chance that Duke has been dominant, like pretty dominant all season long. And it's not just Cooper Flagg on that team. I know we're talking about Cooper Flagg, but the great thing that it's not just Cooper Flagg, and that the type of game he has fits in, of course, with this team. Okay. That's why a lot of NBA scouts are salivating, wishing their team could draft him. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But man, it's a damn good chance because Duke started off, I believe, number 1 in the country, at least one or two. They lost a couple games of either close or someone was hurt here and there. But for the longest stretch of the season, about from halfway to the season to about now, they were really dominant. 20-point wins, 30-point wins. So Duke is right there, man. So it's a great chance that they will win it. I got Florida winning it myself, but Florida and Duke will be a great matchup, whether we get it in the Final Four or whether we get it in a championship game. I do think those are the best 2 teams in the country, no doubt about it.
100%. And right now, if you go back to the Elite 8, which was yesterday. So there were 2 games yesterday that played yesterday. It was Alabama and Duke. It was Texas Tech and Florida, and today is Michigan State and Auburn. Auburn is a really good team, by the way. And so is Michigan State. And Houston Tech is playing Tennessee right now. Wow. Houston is winning 34-15. It's halftime. So whoever wins out of Tennessee or Houston will face Duke, and whoever wins out of Michigan or Auburn will face Florida. I would love Auburn to face Florida because I feel like Auburn and Florida will be a really good matchup. Auburn is really good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think they played twice already this season.
Yeah, they did.
And if I can recall, both of them has been like great games. So I'm looking for them to play each other as well. And then that Duke in U of H, the Cougars, if they do pull this off, that would be a good game against Duke as well,
Mm.
because the Cougars play damn good defense. They're probably the best defensive team left in the tournament. So they might not score a lot, but they can play defense. But the great thing about Duke
They
is
got size.
they have size. They are a very long team. Probably I
They
think
got a
they're the
7 foot center. Yep. They got a 7 foot
longest
center.
team left.
Exactly. And then Cooper Fly, he's 6'9". They got a couple 6'8", 6'6"
Set,
people on it.
yeah. Yeah, because another guy on that team is Quan Kneppel. He's the other guard for Duke. You see, he's right around that 6'5", 6'6" range. But he's nasty. You know what I
You
mean?
see what
He's
I mean?
50. He's
You
20,
see what I
50.
mean? Yeah. Okay, guys, I wish I don't understand. Like, when you have a team who is around 6'6", 6'8", around the 7 foot range of heights, and you're facing that team, you can have good defense, but you're facing big men on that team.
Yeah,
And for a point guard to be that tall, bro, 6'6",
that's tough, man.
that is tough.
That's tough.
But yeah, but it's and to your point, like if you're facing Duke, you got to be careful how you're facing them too. And if you're a team that has really good defense, I feel like it'll come down to the wire, as like you have to score a point to win. But I feel like whoever faced Duke and has that really good defense, I feel like I said, it's gonna come down the wire, and it's gonna be a 1 point game lead, and it's gonna be whoever hits that buzzer beater.
That's what I mean. Yep. It's going to be a tight one. Like I say, if the University of Houston and Duke play, that's going to be a good one. But the thing is, man, Duke can shoot. To
Duke
be
can
long
shoot.
and can shoot the basketball.
Duke,
It's like, hey, how can we beat these dudes?
Duke can shoot. That's the thing about it.
We'll see, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like, even the way we're talking about college basketball, or you go to any another podcast, or you go watch SportsCenter, or you go somewhere. The college basketball is back. And like I say, the NIL is partly, the most part, responsible for it. You know what I mean? Because again, these dudes are staying in college making money, and you're still blending in with the actual superstars that's coming in there, like Cooper Flag. And then, man, it's just good for college basketball, man. And in both tournaments so far, I've gone pretty much chalk. If you filled out a bracket, and for anyone that don't know what chalk is pretty much picking the favorites. But that's okay. Everyone loves the Cinderellas, the success, upset stories in the first, maybe second round. But when it gets down to it, whether it's men's tournament or women's tournament, statistics show, viewership show, everyone wants to see the chalk, the top players, the top picks. And that pretty much makes best tournaments, man. And if you look again on the men's side and the women's side, you pretty much you have a lot of number 1 seeds and a lot of number 2 seeds left in the tournament, and I believe maybe a 3 here and there. But basically all the top teams who, when you're filling out your bracket and you're thinking, who can win, all those teams are pretty much still left. Hadn't been any big super upset. So, and like I said, if you look in the women's tournament, all the matchups are 1 and 2, except for the LSU game. They're 3, so they're 3 going against a 1. So all the top players, all the top teams are there. And the same with the men's. I believe Auburn is the number 1 seed. Duke is the number 1 seed. University of Houston is the number 1 seed. So
Tennessee number 2.
Tennessee.
It's 3.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and it's
and Florida.
Florida was top overall seed. So again, everyone wants to see the upsets, but the statistics show different. Everyone wants to see the big boys, and so man, I'm excited. I'm ready to go watch the rest of these games today and tonight, and see how it turned out.
Yes. I'm looking forward to seeing Auburn and Michigan today at 5:05 p.m. So I hope everybody is in tune with the March Madness. March Madness is probably the most like best college tournament games in the world, as far as like the NBA's All Star or WNBA's All Star. But March Madness is where it's at because you can see a glimpse of some of the best teams in college facing off and making it a big upset, or it could be just just a win. But to 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 see it this year, and I'm asking you a question. Do you think this year's performance to these teams are? Do you think this March Madness is better than any other March Madness you witnessed?
You know what? I would say yes. In a while, just the whole package, whether it's how it's been presented on TV, whether it's how it's been marketed, pretty much it's brought me back. You know what I mean? And of course, it has anytime college basketball has a player like Cooper Flag, you kind of want to check him out and see what he's going to do in the biggest moments. The women's game, they got the talk of the town now. They're getting the same exposure. Look, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely brought me back. I've kind of been not watching it here and there throughout the years, maybe catch a piece of a game here and a little bit of the game here, might watch the championship game. But so far, I've been here from start to finish, and I like it. It's different. It looks like the excitement is back.
I love it. Yeah, I highly agree on that one too, because I've seen a few shares of the March Madness, and I believe this one is the most exciting one to watch, because not only that, but you're seeing some of the teams improve over the years, and they've gotten so much better, and it's just amazing. Like Duke has always been a phenomenal team from the start. It's always been that number one team because of Coach K. And then when they got a new coach, this new coach with Duke, they've won 3 seasons. They've had 3 seasons of a good solid record.
Yeah.
Overall. Without Coach K, not being there no more. And then when you go to Auburn has been a really good team too, for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
You got Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good, known for their football team, and they do got a good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Florida, Texas Tech. But if you go to the women's, it's always been LSU, UConn, USC, and then when you hear teams like Iowa, that was Caitlin Clark.
That was 100% Caitlin Clark. She had some good teammates though.
She made that team really good because like you said, because of the team she had around them. So I don't want people to really focus on a team just because of that one player. No, yes, that player is surrounded by that team, but they're only great because of the teammates they have around them. So
system as well. The system as well.
Exactly. So when you got players like Michaela Williams, she got. I watched her one game. She had this one player she had this one team on her team that was just straight grabbing boards like left and right. I'm like,
Anissa Morrow.
I'm like, every time, the one time she missed a 3, she just grabs the board, brings it down with four players right up on her. I'm like, yo,
man, she's one of my favorite players to watch, man. Her name is Anissa Morrow. She's actually first team All-American this year, first team All-SEC, probably going to be player of the year. She set all kind of records with double-doubles. If for everyone out there don't know what a double-double is, that's maybe 10 points and 10 rebounds a game at least. In basketball, she set college records. I love watching her play, man. She's a dog. You know what I mean? She is a dog. She's another one that transferred to LSU last year from DePaul, and where she was All-American there. But, NIL was like, hey, you want to be on a bigger stage, you want to make more money, come to LSU, and it's worked out well for her, man. But again, she is definitely one of my favorite players to watch. Who she is someone I actually tune in to watch her play. She's such a dog, man. Such a dog.
Yeah. So all right. So it is 3:22. We're going to hop into the Elite Eight for the women's college basketball. Um, let's do a little bit of quick takes and to see and give our predictions to see how
Let's
this is
do
gonna
it.
all how this all gonna play out. So
Run
we'll
them down to
do
me.
all right. So first team we got South Carolina and Duke. Now South Carolina is is the number one, and Duke is number two. You got those two facing off in the Elite Eight. Which team out of those two will be coming out?
Man, that's tough. That's tough. But
Hmm.
man, I'm gonna go this time of year. I'm gonna go with Coach Don Staley, man, and the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks.
I
I
love it.
mean,
I
I
love
mean,
it.
I like Duke. I've watched them, and they are really good, really, really, really good. And consequently, Michaela, those was one of her top five choices that it came down to. Of course, she chose to go to LSU, but man, I'm sticking with them, man. Coach Staley has been there time and time again. A lot of people, if not mostly, our whole team has been there this time of year, so they got tons of experience. Defending champion, uh, 10 McDonald's All Americans on the bench. Yeah. So, I like Duke,
Hmm.
but I'm going to go with South Carolina.
I think just the energy that South Carolina brings, it's definitely something that's outmatched. I don't think Duke is
Yeah.
going to match up very well with South Carolina. Um, Next one you got the number two team. You got TCU versus number one Texas. Out of out of one of those teams, who do you think is gonna leave out with a big W? I'm gonna have to go with Texas.
Yeah, another good game.
I don't think. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Texas as well.
yeah,
Uh, TCU is, I mean, from where they were 2 years ago, their women's program was just not there. They were just trying to
yeah,
find anybody to play. But again, NIL helped them get Haley Van Lith, who was at LSU last year, and
yep.
she was with at Louisville the 3 years before that when she went to the Final Four. But anyway, they got her, brought in another couple girls with that NIL money. They're good. So I mean, man, it's going to be tough. That's another tough game, but I think Texas defense and size is going to come into play. And of course, Texas has the best. Haley Van Lith for TCU, she's great. But Texas is going to have the best player on the floor, Madison Booker, with
Mm,
top forwards in the game. Another one that was in the same class with Juju and Michaela. That's what I meant by a lot of those girls are showing up now on their prospective teams. So I got to go with Texas, man. I think the SEC grind that Texas went through this year and eventually reached number one in the country, I think that's not a fluke. So I'm gonna go with
right.
Texas here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely saying Texas too, because the way how they've been playing, and I see how they've been playing recently. So definitely Texas with that one. Um, we're gonna do the last team last, but we're gonna go to this one. You got LSU versus UCLA. UCLA is number one. LSU is number three. So you got Michaela Williams facing UCLA and their best player on that team. I forgot who she was.
Kiki Rice,
Kiki
that's one
Rice.
of
Yep,
them.
yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Kiki
Kiki
Rice
Rice.
is one of them. But you got your cousin Michaela Williams going up against UCLA, man.
They have to. That's another tough one, man. Um, I mean, for LSU, I've said this about them all season. Uh, for them to win, of course, the perimeter people have to be on, but their inside people have to have good games, which Anissa Morrow has been doing, and then their other big has been playing well as well. So for them to win this game, both of them are going to have to play big inside because UCLA has a center, I think, believe her name is Lauren Betts. She's like 6'7". She can play. She can play ball. So it's going to be a tough one, man. I think LSU is more athletic on the outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and run with the Lady Tigers.
Okay. Gotta represent,
Yeah,
man.
and also coaching comes down to it, just like us
Yeah.
with Don Staley with South Carolina. I'm gonna get a coaching advantage. Coach Kim Mulkey for LSU. She's great, just like that. Multiple national titles as a coach, 2 different schools. So she knows how to coach this time of year and around this time situation. So,
right. Okay. So we got South Carolina beating Duke. We got Texas beating TCU. We got LSU beating UCLA. And this is the finale of the Elite Eight. You got UConn versus USC. Now, not only do we got these two facing each other, Juju Watkins won't be playing in that game.
Yeah.
So the outcome of that game, I feel like it'll still be a good game because
it will.
Despite Juju isn't the only player who not only did they lose her, but they also have another good player on that team who sealed the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she has to step up too. And not only her, but the other teams, the other players gotta fill in the role too. So they gotta really, take initiative because you're facing Paige Beckers, one of phenomenal good mid-range shooters, really good, 3-point shooter. She's a really good scorer. So, and then the players she has around her, is that you got to be prepared because UConn's one of the best teams. And I believe UConn won last year, I think, for state, I think. Did they win?
No, the national title last year went to South Carolina.
That's right. They did. Oh, yeah, they went to go to South Carolina.
Yeah, went to South Carolina.
So UConn didn't win. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game as well, man. But first of all, besides Paige Beckers, I got to go back to the theme. Another theme as far as coaching advantage here. You got arguably one of the greatest coaches, definitely one of the greatest, if not the greatest, women's coach of all time, Gino Auriemma, the UConn head coach. So if anyone knows how to coach this time of year, that's one of the biggest advantages left. And then, of course, you got Paige Beckers, who, is projected to be the top pick in this year's WNBA draft, multi-time All-American. She seems to be clicking on her game right now. I believe she hit 40 points the other night. So they're ready to go. And for USC, they have a couple other great players on their team. But just to win this game and to get the task is so big. This is one of the ones where you actually need Juju to get you over the hump.
That's what I'm saying.
In my opinion. So against a team like this and a coach like this and a team that's thriving and going, I can see it being a close game for a while. It might be close the whole tournament. Whole game. But I can see UConn winning this one without a major scare. Put it like that.
Yeah, I feel like USC is going to put up a dogfight the best they can.
Yeah,
and I don't see UConn blowing this team out the water, but I do see USC putting up a fight. Just make it good enough.
They're good.
Make it to a point where they at least try to win the game. For Juju, because Juju is out. But if Juju wasn't out and she was playing in this game against Paige Beckers,
I would have a USC. I would have SC.
I would say USC would definitely be winning because nobody's guarding Juju or nobody's guarding any of her teammates at all.
Yeah.
And same thing for Paige Beckers. Nobody's guarding Paige Beckers because she's a phenomenal scorer. She's gonna find her way.
Right.
And it all comes on a wire between those two teams. And last matchup, Paige Beckers won that game.
Right.
So this is a rematch to see who's actually going to win. And I feel like it's going to fall to UConn again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see. I mean,
Yeah,
anything can happen. Anything can happen.
right.
But those are my picks. That's just my opinion and who I think's
Yeah.
is going to pull it out. So either way, we should get some phenomenal basketball today.
Yep.
Whether you're a fan of basketball or you're a casual fan, the women's game, the men's game, just sit down and watch it all if you can. It's exciting. So
Okay. We got a few minutes to speak on this real quick. Duke versus Arizona. Cooper Flag, 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists against Caleb Love with 35 points. Let's talk about that one because that was the most biggest game that
yeah,
I've seen. When you got Caleb Love who transferred, I think I think twice. He traded one time because he was with North Carolina, and
right,
then transferred to Arizona,
right.
and then when I heard Arizona, because me and my uncle were discussing about spreading the like conversation talks about college and WNBA and NBA and Olympics and all types of stuff like that, high school as well, and then when he brought up Duke in Arizona, I'm like, Duke in Arizona, whoo!
Yeah,
That's that's a match I would pay money to see that because you got Cooper
yeah.
Flag going up against Caleb Love, and then the players that Cooper Flag has, and then Caleb Love has. It was a dog fight, yo.
You know it's gonna be a dogfight, man.
It was a dog fight.
That
So
was the
play,
one, man.
yeah,
That's the one the networks wanted to see. That
yeah,
game, that excitement, and you had some future high draft pick, future pros, high draft picks,
yeah,
uh, and then people got that's the Cooper flag. That whether you follow the game or whether you're a casual fan,
yeah.
that's the one you wanted to see. That's the one you got your money's worth.
Exactly. But I feel like when you have that, and I'm sure you know this, from experience of playing sports, and and I have too. But when you're on a team and you have that one player who has that kind of energy that you feel of and makes you like want to like play good. So like let's say like Cooper Flag, like the energy he gave off that game, his teammates, like fed off of that and
Yeah,
just went crazy, like blocks. Cooper Flag has some crazy blocks off of Caleb Love and some other opponents he got blocks on. Just just the rebounding and the size, the 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 gameplay that Cooper Flag set his teammates up for was amazing. Like
right.
there's this one play where he was in the paint, he was gonna hit a fadeaway, but then he stepped through and threw an alley to his 7 foot center. I saw that, I was like, yo, what?
Yeah.
Not only can he score and shoot, but he can also make a play.
Yep. Yep.
That's one thing. Yeah, and that's one thing that makes college so fun because you get to visualize these players and how they score basket and how they play,
Yeah.
and and to see how they would bring this to the NBA, like it'll shock people
Yeah.
because when you see Wemby, like you don't see this man pulling off a one leg shot and from half court. You don't see that. The man,
Right.
the man is 7'4", and
Uh-huh.
and kudos to Wemby, but prayers for him because he had a blood clot
Right.
in his shoulder. But seeing guards like seeing bigs like that, like Kevin Durant, like moving like that, Jason Tatum moving, just the way they move and the way they score and the way they make plays,
It's
it's
amazing, man.
it's phenomenal. So
Hmm.
what's your what's your voice thinking like how would you think the big man like evolution has changed so much? Like what do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the game has changed as we was discussing earlier about the bigs. You know, the bigs have been completely out the game for a while now, and now it seems like they're coming back. But even as they come back, they're more multifaceted. You know, on the court, they have more skills. Traditional big men used to just get the ball down low, back up, back to the basket. You know, shoot those 3 feet in type of shots, play defense. But now with the movement of the game, and the game is changing, just the evolution of the athletes in the sport itself. You have your Wimbies, you know, guys that are 7'4", that can handle the ball like a small guard. You know, these guys now, they don't play so much as back to the basket. A lot of them shoot threes now. Uh, Stretch fours. It's basically a big forward that can shoot the three. Way back in the day, that was unheard of. You got centers now that shoot more threes than they shoot 2 pointers. That's just the way the game is. And you go to one of these games and you see how big these guys are, or if you happen to run into these guys, but you can really see them in their element at the arena during a game to really appreciate the size and the athleticism. You know, if you're fortunate enough, the closer you sit, especially in basketball, you know, like you say, you actually see that. You see a guy like Wemby, 7'4", 7'5", dribbling a basketball for one, right? You
That's
know, just think
right.
about just him bouncing and it's coming to his waist. You know, that bounce is taller than most people. You know what I mean? And so seeing him pull up and just seeing them, you know, the artistry that it takes and the skill that today's game has. You know, if you're able to see that live and personal, is actually mind blowing. So
Yeah, that's actually insane. And speaking of Wemby's ending season, Damian Lillard also has a blood clot in his right calf.
right,
So he's definitely out, and definitely
man.
we don't know when he's going to return, but hopefully next month he'll come back and return. But that was one thing that I wanted to address when I made a live video, because I wanted to be on the live and speak on that. So people gotta understand, like blood clot. I feel like is really rare. Like you don't see players get that too often.
Right.
But we've had 3 players that had a blood clot, and that was Damian Lillard, Wemby, and there was another NBA player years ago who had one. I believe that was Brandon Ingram. He had one, and he was out. He came back and just he was just a different person. I feel like each player, and this goes for women's ball too and college ball too. For anybody who has an injury, I feel like does that does that mess up a game for the player itself? Because I feel like most injuries don't really like affect you too much, but once you have it, I feel like it'll affect you and the way how you play the game.
Yeah, yeah, especially those type injuries. They're not your typical, let's just say basketball, a sprained ankle or blown out knee or something like that.
Right, because that's
Uh,
serious.
and yeah, it takes time even with those type injuries, but Joe's are more common, you know, in all sports. You know, sit out, get it repaired, come back. Yeah, it's a little mental that comes with it. But once you realize, okay, it's stronger now, boom, boom, you can move on. But
Right.
when it comes to these type injuries, these are different. I felt these are ones that can actually mess with someone's mind. That might take a little longer for the athlete to actually perform, you know, up to his level because I mean that's in the back of your mind. You know, if your ankle was broke or your knee, your ACL was blown out, you know they went there and they repaired your ACL, right? 6 months, 8 months later, you running just as fast as you were before that. You're stronger before that. But how do you
Yep.
judge this type of injury? You see what I'm saying? You can't judge this type of injury. So each time you're going out there, once you know you've been cleared to go back, I can see mentally where it can be tough to actually come back and perform like you used to. Because, like you say, a lot of these guys that's gotten this injury, Chris Bosh tried to come back and play a little bit. He could never
Yep, I
catch his
seen
groove
that.
again. He always
Yeah.
seemed like he was, worried about, well, the blood clot. Who else? You mentioned Brandon Ingram. Seemed like ever since he had his, he just, you
Gordon
know,
Hayward. Yep.
yeah, they hadn't been the same. And I think
Yep.
it has to be that because again, it's not like getting your knee repaired or
Yep.
getting a bone chip fixed in your ankle or something. You get that repaired, it's fixed, you back out there. This you don't know, and just one wrong, not movement, but something goes wrong in your body. And, just like that, that blood clot can come back and you can die from that. So
Yeah. And honestly, this is gonna be the last thing that we talk about, and then we'll end it here, and then we'll double back on Monday with Uncle Ramon. Um, when you have certain injuries, like I think the most scary injuries that I've witnessed so far in the NBA will have to be Paul George in the I think in like when he was in the Olympics,
mhm.
he hit his ankle. I think he bent it so bad at a point where like he had to get get that situated. He was out for the rest of the season, and that same injury happened with Gordon Hayward when they faced the Cavaliers. When it was Kyrie versus LeBron, he came down, and it was just like these injuries are very scary.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a rare situation, like a rare like blood clot, like that's very rare.
Well, a heart defect or something along those
Yeah.
lines. It's
Same thing
like,
with
I
same
was just
thing
going
with.
to, sorry.
My
Hey,
bad.
look, great minds think alike. We got the same thing on our mind.
Yeah, we
And
definitely do.
I saw those Gordon Hayward, Paul George, those injuries were, whoo, man, they were hard to see. And I think people looked at them as far as because how gruesome they were when they happened, how it looked.
Yeah.
But in reality, I remember both of those were clean breaks. It just looked super nasty. So
Yeah.
they were able to surgery, heal up, they're back on the court. Of course, it's going to, Paul George even said, getting back and getting over that hurdle of jumping harder and this and that. That was probably the toughest part, making sure it was completely healed. But then, he was back to balling. But, you know, fast forward to these guys that get those, inside your body type injuries that you can't really control, where you actually need a medical professional to see what's going on inside of you, and not just a bone or anything like that. So that has to be tough, man. I can't say what I do, especially if I'm a guy like Dame, at the end of my career, been in the league 12 plus years, I believe, to 12, 13 years, something like that, made generational wealth. I know it's tough, to hang them up, but man, I say this now, like I say, I know it's tough to hang them up, but when it comes to those type injuries, man, and you're fortunate enough, why not? Why not call it a career?
Yeah. Yeah. That's because we've and I'm sure like people like me, you, and other people in the world that played the game that they love the most. That when it comes to a season ending, that's like it's kind of scary because of the injury that they might come up with.
Right,
Like let's say if it's like a sprained ankle, like like you'll be okay. Like it's
right,
not too bad. Like it won't affect you as much.
right.
But if it's an injury like the one where Paul George, Gordon Hayward, who else? Clay Thompson, because he was out for 2
Yeah,
seasons. His
yeah.
ACL, and same
And
thing
it's
with
Achilles. Yeah,
yeah. Curry, same thing with him. He was out for a year. He came back in 2020, 2021.
yeah.
Came back during that year. There's just been so many players that have hurt themselves but pushed themselves to play the next game, even though that they got hurt
Right.
the other game. But to see these players think like if they can still move, they're
Right.
good to go next game. But I want these players to be more mindful that when you hurt something, it's not gonna be the same as you feeling better. The next time you shoot hoops, or next time you throw the ball, or the next time you hit a hockey puck or whatever. It could be baseball, soccer, or whatever. Any sport you play, you got to be careful how you treat your body
Yeah.
because if you don't, you can get hurt instantly. So
Well, true, and I agree with that. But also on the other side of that, it kind of goes back to what I was just saying.
mhm.
As an athlete, you're going to push yourself physically, all right, and that's part of being great, or just being good, or just being successful as an athlete in any sport at any level. Okay, but you can judge if you're pushing yourself on my knee. If I know my ankle is sprained and it hurts and shit, hurts like hell, but I can get out there and I can play. It's gonna hurt like hell, but you can pull it off. A lot of athletes pull it off. If I know I sprained my knee, but 3 weeks ago and it told me it was gonna take 6 weeks, but it's only been 3 weeks and I can run, I can play, you're gonna play. That's athletes, right? But
Yeah,
you can't, that's the beauty of it though. That's actually the beauty of being an athlete, right? But that's why you see guys. Oh man, he played on a broken arm all game. They didn't even know. He knew he was pushing himself. You deal with that later. You can deal with that in your mind because you can feel it. You can actually feel it. Like, okay, I know, but more I can control it. But you can't feel a blood clot. You know what I mean? You can't feel that type stuff.
can't
You
feel
might be
that.
feeling great on the outside, but you don't feel it heading towards your heart. You know what I'm saying? And that's the scary part of it.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I can know if my knee messed up, but I know I can get through this 48 minutes of this game or the couple hours of this football game. It's gonna might take a shot in it or to numb it or put a brace on it. But like this, I can be out feeling fine, going 100 miles an hour, no pains nowhere, and I die because the blood clot then shot to my heart. I didn't even know. So that's the scary part. You
Yeah.
know, break my ankle, break my foot. Tell me it's gonna hurt like hell if I go out there and push it. I'm good. I can feel that. I
Right.
can't feel what's going on like that with the blood clot. So that is the scariest thing. So,
Right. Yeah.
yep.
And speaking of that too, because we also witnessed Brownie having a cardiac heart arrest too. Like that was another thing. Like he could have died from that, but but he was lucky enough to survive that. And then come back and play half his career in college for USC. Like these kind of situations, when it comes to being, like when you're playing or not, like that cardiac heart arrest, like that can happen to anybody for real. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're a player or not. That can happen to anybody.
Yep.
Same
Real
thing.
life.
Yep. Same thing with a blood clot. Like that can happen to any non player.
Yep.
You,
As
you know.
athletes are fortunate enough a lot of times to get that being an athlete and getting the type of medical treatment uh, at a lot of levels, even through junior high and high school. A
Exactly.
lot of those things are caught because you are an athlete. You might have had to take this physical here because growing up you always had to do some type of physical to play, whether it's little league, junior high, high school, everything. So a lot of those are caught in physicals and by the team doctor. So that is a plus by being an athlete.
Exactly.
Kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks training staff, whoever caught this. Man, because these things are very serious. And I actually was listening to LeBron James interview with Pat McAfee. I don't know if you caught that the other day,
Nah,
or if
okay.
anyone's watching the show caught that. He did bring that up about the Bronny situation, and how real life and how scary it was.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, a lot of people, he's known a couple of people that had that same thing happen around that same age, back in the day when he was around that age. And those people either never made it back to playing sports, which that happens a lot in a lot of sports. When that comes along, they never make it back, or either it said it take 2 or 3 years before you start feeling yourself, feeling like your old self. And if you look at Bronny, man, uh, shit, it hadn't even been what's it been a year maybe, and the dude, he is. I mean, to come back for one, and now to be improving and playing at the level he's playing at, uh, it's it's way ahead of schedule, and it's something to be applauded. Because I mean,
Yeah.
having a cardiac arrest, man, that's something serious. That transcends sports. That's real life.
Yeah, because the man's averaging like at least 20 points a game in the G League. The man just
Yeah,
dropped
man.
man dropped 49 career high in his other game in G
Yep.
League. I'm like, dude, yeah, this man got potential, dog.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He
I
definitely
need,
do.
yeah, I need people to stop really make it seem like he's only here because of his father. I mean,
Nah,
dude,
yeah, partly. Everyone has that
partly,
connection in the
yeah,
league. If you're not the top pick, I've known people in all kind of professional sports that's played in all kind of various different professional sports, man. And it's a
exactly,
business, and it's just like everything else. I've known people that have told me, or I've known people to have benefited from somebody saying, "Hey, go look at this guy." You know what I mean? Take my word for it. Da da da. They've gotten on
right,
teams or have gotten positions the same way. So non-sports fans, and just casuals that don't really know how things work. Sports are the same way, except they're big business, and they're a lot of times drafted off potential, not off what this player did here and there. That doesn't always matter. If they see someone walking
right.
down the street and they're 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan, you know, and is never athletic as hell, and has never played sports before, and a NBA GM is a scout is driving down the street,
Yeah.
best believe they're gonna turn around and look. And it might talk to you and be like, "Hey, you ever played sports before? If not, oh, this age, oh, if you come live here. We'll get you a place to stay, and we'll teach you this game and take this shot on you and see if you can play."
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. Well, it is 3:54. It is almost 3:45. So we're gonna wrap it up here. It has been a really good episode today. We kind of cleared it up. As you can see, we got the music running right now. I want to thank everybody. To stay in tune with the live video on the Basketball Truth for Knowledge with my special guest CP in the building. You already know. My boy is repping his cousin's LSU number 12, Michaela Williams.
We'll be see what it do.
Yes, sir. We'll be playing right now because it's 3:54. So she's probably playing right now. It's probably halftime right now.
Yeah.
So so I'm gonna try to hop back. I'm gonna hop on that game now. I'm trying to watch her, see how she does, and then I'm rooting for Michaela Williams to win and hit the Final Four. And then at the end of the tournament, I would love to get her on the show so I can pick her brain a little bit. Try to talk to her. Like get her experience on the game that she loves the most.
No doubt.
And then stay tuned for the recording either on Monday or Wednesday, guys. Stay tuned for that with Uncle Ramon, my other co-host. We will be talking about more of the NBA. And then next Sunday, are you free next Sunday?
Yeah, I should be. I'll definitely let you know. So,
Okay.
I'm more than happy to jump on
Yes.
and talk sports, man. That's what I do.
All right. Well, if you are, hit me up, and then I will send you an invite for Sunday. But if you're you are more welcome to hop on Mondays or Wednesdays because I'm gonna do Mondays recordings for the NBA. Wednesdays is for college.
All
So
right.
I'll be doing that. So, but stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. With all being said, it's been the Basketball Truth for Knowledge. I'm your co-host Aramis, and my boy CP.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yeah.